Hello and good morning. I'm sorry that I can't be there with you in person today. So instead, I've kind of made a video to preview and hopefully answer some questions that you might have about what is meant with Hour of Code. Hour of Code is a creation of code.org. And first of all, let me show you where you can find all that information. Code.org was founded about some 5 odd years ago with a mission or really a belief that every child, every student should have the right to learn computer science. And there's a lot that goes into computer science that many people don't understand. An hour of code is their way of exposing students who have never done anything like that for the very first time. I recently went through a week-long training with code.org. It was very, very helpful, and it just made me start thinking about Hour of Code and how we can maybe broaden it from what we did last year. For those of you that do not know, last year in Florence, very first Hour of Code ever in history, we were able to service over 600 students. That's huge for a first year, and I want to make it even bigger than that. So let me show you code.org and what Hour of Code is all about. You can scroll down through here. This is their homepage, code.org. Feel free to go to it. You can learn a little bit more about it, and I'll show you that in a minute. Teach is where you find all their curriculum resources. And what's nice about it, whether you go to their trainings or not, it's all free. So down here, you're going to find Hour of Code. Looking at Hour of Code, all you really need to do is follow these step-by-step tutorials, and it pretty much walks the students through what they need to click, what they need to press, and so forth. And they have different ones. They even have ones for students that may not have a device in class, no device or internet. They call those unplugged activities. A lot of my students last year did Lightbot. It's a way to program this little robot and his movements, and it becomes almost like a game to them. I had some that had Code Combat, and they're constantly coming out with new ones. There's many that you can choose from. Code with Anna and Elsa, that's geared more towards your younger students. In the recent event, the new Star Wars was released. They came out with a Star Wars Building a Galaxy with Code. I played a lot of them. A lot of my students enjoyed Minecraft. And what I did for teachers last year that wanted to come after school and learn a little bit more about Hour of Code, let them pick a few of their favorites. And I kind of walk through them through the tutorials with those teachers. So I had them limit their students to pick from this list. And how I structured Hour of Code, I made sure that I first, in the beginning, talked about why we were doing this, what computer science was, and if you feel uncomfortable, and a lot of teachers do that don't know about computer science, talking about it, there are great and wonderful videos that all you've got to do is show your students. So I spent about 5 minutes last year explaining why we do Hour of Code during Computer Science National Education Week in December. And there's a reason behind that. I'll let you Google that. I'm not going to tell you. Also, I spent about 5 or so minutes explaining exactly what is computer science, because it goes beyond coding. But again, a lot of these tutorials that you can do kind of get kids used to coding. Some of them are for more advanced, your older students, but a lot of them are for your younger ones. That's who we're trying to target with this. And it just lets them have fun with coding in a way that almost seems like play. They also have something called Beyond an Hour of Code, which I guess if you had some enrichment time in your school and you had kids that were coming to you, I want to do more. This is not hard enough. I need something more challenging. they have tutorials that will take longer periods of time. And it's called Hour of Code because that sounds catchy. It doesn't necessarily have to be a full hour. For instance, periods at the high school are 50 minutes. So that's how long my kids did it. Let me show you a few things going back to code.org homepage here, where these great and wonderful videos are, very, very high quality, that code.org has made. So if you go to Learn, and I'll give you the direct links to these videos as well. I sent them in an email to Dr. Shaw, so if he wants to forward that to all of you, he can definitely do so. These are some of their videos that you can show students that may have questions about, how does the internet work? What makes it work? And again, they're very high quality videos. Scroll down through here. And again, down at the bottom, and again, how the internet works. A lot of these are instructional videos, but these are the most exciting ones. Inspirational videos. And I showed some of my students this Inspire a Girl video because computer science is very much so represented by males. So one of the goals of code.org and this initiative, this push for computing and coding, is to get more minority groups involved, and girls being one of them. Computer science intro, I showed that to my kids because it was only a minute. Again, these are very high quality videos. President Obama on computer science, what most schools don't teach. I played this one, even though it's 5 minutes, a little bit longer. It really held the kids' attention. And again, you would want to play these before you showed them to your students. Anybody can learn. This one was pretty neat. Hour of Code is here. Anybody can learn. I played this particular video since we were going to do Hour of Code the next day, the day before. So at the end of class, when we had a few minutes left over, I played this video to kind of let them know what we were going to be doing tomorrow. But again, these inspirational videos are very, very good. But all you've got to do is go in here and play around with code.org. Again, I sent Dr. Shaw some direct links to these so you wouldn't get lost in the website. But that's where it comes from. Again, last year, I put it out there for anyone that wanted to. I was able to get the high school and the middle school involved. And again, over 600 students, and that's really good for a first year. I could not even imagine it would have been that many. But it really got them wondering, and that's all Hour of Code's about, exposing students that otherwise didn't have a coding course or a programming or a computer science course, and just kind of get them, for lack of a better word, hungry for it so that they want to learn more. So again, that's kind of Hour of Code in a nutshell. I don't really have time to walk you through one of these tutorials. Again, they're very self-explanatory because, again, you're going to have teachers doing this Hour of Code with students that don't know anything about it. So anyway, there are some direct links that Dr. Shaw has in an email if you would like those. And again, I'll leave this YouTube video up if you want to come back to it at any time. And if you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. And thank you for your time.